Question for you for today. Obviously, tough loss. We saw 3 goals go in today. You know, there are going to be some questions of fragility. Do you feel like something in the system didn't quite connect the way you were hoping? Or do you feel like something that was presented by the opposition today gave you something you weren't expecting?
No, we expected Chicago to play this way, and we were talking about to be careful in midfield, especially because we come from a game that was only 3 days ago, and we were tired. So, and they had a lot of dynamism in the team, so they were more dangerous in offensive transitions. So it was very important for us, especially in midfield, to keep hold of the ball. And sometimes we didn't do that well, and we got punished on transitions, because in the end they have quality players, and they took well the chances. I am very proud of our boys. I'm very proud because they play to score goals. They play to create, they play until the end. And so, yes, okay, sometimes you concede an offensive transition, sometimes you give but to get the right balance between playing and not conceding, I think even the biggest team in the world, they have difficulties in doing that. And I'd rather have my team trying to create chances and score goals. And then, okay, we got punished today, but I was very proud to see our team playing. We stayed very high. We create chances after chances, and I didn't think we had luck, but this is not an excuse. I thought that the boys made me proud. We could have dealt better probably on certain situations defensively, and we will review and analyze them. But at the same time, listen, when you play to score goals and create chances, sometimes you can be open.
So obviously right there at the end of the first half, there's an equalizer, 2-2. It's kind of bumbled over. I believe it ends up going down as an own goal. What do you tell the team after a situation like that, where either one goes in to equalize or one goes the other way right before the time, and you get to reset the team? You know, what's your message to them in that time?
The message was simple, that we had to be careful on these transitions, because the goals and the dangers came from our mistakes when we are trying to play and build up. It wasn't that they cut us open when playing. We went a few times to create chances, and we had to work really hard for that, to create and play. And I think that most of the chances we gave them came from our mistakes in building up or losing simple balls in midfield. And then they were very good. They are very good at that, Chicago, and we knew that. So we talk about, because even after the 2-2, we had 2 big chances again. We had one with Jordi, we penetrated them on the left, and Jordi Reina unfortunately didn't make good contact with his left foot, and then 2 minutes after, McKenzie shoot just over the bar. And that was after the equalizer, so we kept creating chances. And the message was, let's play our game, but be more careful in midfield. I think that a couple of the young lads, they were a little bit tired. We wanted to keep going with them, and so they play well, but you know, they are not used to this kind of intensity every 3 days. And that's why both Ben and Quinn came out. But I thought that they are a credit to this football club, and we need to give them time, and time also means give them the time to grow with experience, and experience comes from making mistakes.
Coach, there are some teams that play, very physical. There's others that, play a little more of the mental games with that. Chicago seemed to be a little more engaged with some of the gamesmanship, taking advantage of situations and stuff like that. Some phantom fouls, some there was hard contact and stuff, and using that to, just change the pace of the game and kind of slow down Charlotte when you were having some momentum there. How do you work around something like that?
I think how do you work around? As I was saying before, we have a number of good, talented young players that they are not probably used to this kind of playing. Also, I think, And I never want to talk about the referee because it seems like a cheap excuse, so I never do that. But also, I think it's the referee that, in big decision, has to get them at least some right, you know. And if you get the big decision right, I think that also changed the game in terms of momentum. So they can do that if you allow them to do also from, you know, from how you officiate the game.
And as you were talking and answering before, with the first two goals, it seemed kind of a failure to close them down in the situation. And the second one, he kind of drifted back a little bit. Was that part of like the fatigue of all these games in a short thing, or just circumstantial? Because sometimes it just happens that the space gets created.
I think could be an element of both, but sometimes in circumstances they took the goal really well. Navarro took the goal really well. The center forward took the goal really well. It's a great shot on the roof. Normally, the goalkeeper can make a save, but he put it really well. You have to congratulate the guy that shoots really well in that circumstance. And sometimes these situations happen. Could be the fatigue, but more than the situation, you have to analyze how the situation was created. And the situation was created by losing simple balls in midfield, and that was the difference. And that comes with experience, especially the midfielders, with experience to make the team play and secure the ball and play rather than to flick it and to try to do things, because we know that most teams in MLS, but in world football, they set traps in the middle of the park. So if you try to overplay in the middle, if you have to overrun the ball, when you are building, you create yourself a situation where you can lose it while you are in a position to build, so you are open. And that's the one thing that we should have done better in the first half. And because I thought that we started really well with that goal from Jordi, and then after we were a little bit unsettled by doing that. But again, I'm very proud of the boys because they play to score goals, they play to create chance. They don't play to suck the pressure and to try to. And this is the team that I like, and I take full responsibility for the result. I take the responsibility. I think the boys played with the heart until the end, and also we had, I think, many chances, and unfortunately we couldn't find the equalizer.
Jordi Alsibar came in, looked really lively.
Mm-hmm.
Given so many players leaving in the midfield, how important is he going to be moving forwards? And it feels like he's been inconsistent so far in the season.
Yeah, Jordi, I agree with you. I think Jordi came on really well with a good spirit. He's another young player that is learning to play in a different league. He only played in his native country, which is a football country, so with a lot of talent, but at the same time, when you play in a different country, there is time to adjust. That is true for top players that go and play in different leagues, and we have to give Jordi the time to find this consistency. So he has been inconsistent, yeah, but he's a young player, and I think that even in training he's improving on a daily basis. He's training well on a daily basis, and we have to give him time also to find consistency. I think he's going to be a very important player for us anyway.
And in terms of Corujo, I know he came off. Any update on how serious that injury is?
Yeah, this is what saddened me most tonight, if I have to be honest. Obviously, I'm not happy with the result. But what makes me more sad tonight is the fact that it looks like Guzman has. We are still evaluating because he needs to do exams, but it doesn't look great. Guzman is a guy that is so important to us in many different ways. He plays always with the heart. He's a good defender. He's a leader of the club, one of the leaders of this squad. And losing him is not just as a footballer, which is we know how good a defender he is, how good a player he is, but also as a character, and that's what sad me the most. And we need to regroup and to be strong. He will be strong because he's a strong character, but this is the one thing that make me more.
Term injury.
I don't know. I don't want to go into that. I just talk with the medical department. They say that it doesn't look great, but sometimes, sometimes things look worse than they really are. So we need to be conservative and wait for the exam to show the extent of the injury.
Okay. And where is the injury?
What is the injury?
I think he's on the knee. I think, but we have to see.
Christian, you talked about, obviously, Guzman and how proud you are of the team, but overall, this is a 3-2 setback, and we've talked about time running out. The schedule is going to get a little bit tougher here the next couple of games. I mean, how do you guys try to put this one behind you and bounce back with 2 tough road tests starting in LA?
Yeah, what do you want us to do? To cry? I mean, we go, we put the head up, and we go forward. I know we have 2 big games coming up in difficult places. Some maybe 2 of the biggest, no, maybe without maybe, they are 2 of the biggest contenders to win the league, and we need to go regroup, train, and go forward to try to give a good account of ourselves, to keep improving as a team, because we have 10 games to go, and there is still time. There is still, obviously we are all disappointed tonight. But listen, we have to grow as a club, and the road to grow, it also goes through these kind of games where the young players understand the importance of certain details that you can talk as much as you want until you actually experience those. You don't really fully understand, but when you actually have them under your skin, then you understand more. So again, I'm very proud, and I take full responsibility of the result.
Tonight a game that can galvanize your guys and band them together because this is one that you're proud of their effort, you maybe deserved a better result. Can this pull the team together even closer, knowing what's ahead?
I hope it does. I said to the boys that in difficulties in life, not just in football, you see people. It's easy to see people behaving, greatly or behaving well when things go well, because it's easy. It's these difficulties you see people. This in football in particular, but in life in general, is true. So I think the group it works well, and it showed tonight that whoever comes with a lot of passion, and they all know and understand the role that they have to play in the team. I hope that this at least something positive comes from that we learn the lesson that we need to take from this result and move on.
All right, last one.
Yeah. This was the first start for Christian Fuchs since July 23rd against Toronto. What did you see from him today? How do you think he performed? That sort of thing.
Like for everybody, when you don't play a full game for a few weeks, doesn't matter how experienced you are, it takes a little bit. But Christian also is a guy that adapts, because he started as a left back, then after the injury of Guzman, he goes central defender, and although from outside it might not seem a big difference, but there is a difference to play on the left or to play as a central defender. At that point, we were losing to 1, and I wanted more energy on the flanks with Joseph Mora, which as usually brings. And so it was a decision that I made to play him a central defender, and it's not easy to change, but I think he always played with his leadership and winning aerial duels, and in a 1v1 situation in the goal, it's difficult because he has to cover big ground behind him. And so we can maybe look at that, how we can prevent that, because I felt that we were close maybe to make a foul or something. Because that ball at that level, you don't win it in that part of the pitch, you're going to defend in the box. And so in the end, after when it's 1v1, the guy is very good. as we know, and he has a big space to attack in a 1v1. And his finish is good, so we have to give him credit for that.
With the new players coming in, could you give us your take on the three new players coming in and when they might be available to even start training before they're available with their visas and their ITCs to play?
Yeah, I already saw Nathan Byrne and Adilson Malanda. They already trained with us, even though just for 1.5 days. Nathan actually did 2 sessions, and Adilson did 1. Adilson is more ready because he started the season in France, and he already played 1 game, so he did the preseason, and he was during season, so he would be available, I think, now to play. We're just waiting for the visa. And Nathan, it takes a little bit more time because he didn't do the full preseason with Derby. But he's a guy that, looking at him, he looks very experienced, and I don't think it will take him long to be ready to play a part in the squad. Nuno, I saw Nuno just before the game, just to greet him. He's doing still the medical, and as soon as possible, he also will train with us. So I'm hoping this is out of our hands in terms of, the bureaucracy. I hope that they will get a visa as soon as possible so we can count on them because everybody is needed from now until the end of season.
You feel good about the talent and the skill they're
I feel
bringing?
really good. I feel really good. I think that they have characteristics that are really important to this football club in the way we want to play. Yeah, I feel good with them. I'm happy to have them. I'm happy to have Nathan, Adilson, and Nuno. I'm really happy.